Joyful living. This is the theme of this year's famous Tournament of Roses, and why not? Americans faced the potentially turbulent 1951 with no less courage than they greeted 1776. It is wise that we review the good things, for in the promises they hold lies much of our strength. Today, paraded before your eyes, will be many of those good things of life, happy memories, the fond hopes and the spiritual wishes of intelligent people. In the joyousness of this occasion, a schoolgirl becomes a queen, her chums princesses in a royal court of roses. Merchants become dignitaries, athletes heroes, and football coaches men of the hour on this sun-drenched day of joyful living. Perhaps somewhere in this happy throng are you. If so, greetings from Queen Eleanor Payne, her court, and the subjects of her mythical kingdom, the citizens of Pasadena, and me, your narrator, Don Wilson. Here we see arriving the teams, Michigan and the Golden Bears of California. They'll lock horns in the famous Rose Bowl this afternoon. Ah, but first, we love a parade, and so do more than 1.5 million visitors. For this event of worldwide interest, people come from everywhere. Newsreel companies, radio broadcasters, and television cameramen pick their places and prepare their equipment for a beautiful but busy day. And now the moment has arrived. The great parade has begun. A giant boom swings a cameraman over the crowd, and the 1951 Tournament of Roses becomes living history. Heralding the approach of this amazing parade, in which only fresh, natural flowers are used, is a mounted drum and bugle group. Here comes Clifford Kenworthy, president of the tournament, riding with Mrs. Kenworthy in a rose-decorated royal brougham. The carriage is a reminder of the early years of this annual midwinter event, which was first held on New Year's Day of 1890. And here's Pasadena's Mayor Benedict and family. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Posse, led by Sheriff Eugene Biscaluz, is out today with 22 riders. They're followed by the 104-piece Pasadena City College official Tournament of Roses band. At the request of General Dwight D. Eisenhower, a combat veteran from Korea was chosen as Grand Marshal of the Rose Parade. Here he is, Marine Corporal Robert S. Gray from Temple City, California. Corporal Gray, twice wounded in Korea, is riding in a car covered with thousands of roses. Not only for a young veteran, but for a schoolgirl queen and her 6 princesses, joyful living reaches a thrilling climax on this great day. Here, Queen Eleanor is seated on a throne of beautiful roses. The joy of living in Mexico is represented here by our sister republic with a replica of the famous Gardenia swimming pool at 14, with snow-capped Mount Orizaba in the background. This float has won the international trophy for the most beautiful entry outside the territorial limits of the United States. Birds of paradise, larkspur, iris, orchids, roses, carnations, bachelor buttons, and chrysanthemums are blended to effect this spectacular creation. Typical of this equestrian equipment in this parade is this gold and silver mounted saddle studded with genuine rubies. No less than 20 bands add musical joy to this festive day, and among these is the 160-piece marching band of the University of Michigan. Uh-oh, can it be? Yes, it is the one and only Hopalong Cassidy. Joyful living? You should have heard this little boy's heartbeat. Riding on a flying carpet patterned after a gridiron, the Big Ten's University of Michigan, destined to meet the University of California in the Rose Bowl this afternoon, is here represented in chrysanthemums and bachelor buttons. Beauty on a speedboat of flowers symbolizes the city of Alhambra's conception of pleasure. Behind the water skiers is a resplendent sunburst fashioned from over 1,500 roses. Happy birthday, says the city of Hawthorne, with a huge floral birthday cake on a table of chrysanthemums, calendulas, bachelor buttons, and orchids. If Michigan can make melody, so can California. Here is the famous band of the Golden Bears of Berkeley. It is followed by the Pacific Coast Conference float featuring Oski, the bear, mascot. Riverside's senior and junior chambers of commerce combine to point out in flowers that a honeymoon is, was, and always will be the pinnacle of joyous living. Beyond food for the heart, however, there is feast for the eyes and delight for the palates. These joys are glorified by San Francisco with a replica of its famous Fisherman's Wharf. Here a sailboat of red pom-poms with a white sail of strung sweet peas piloted by Joan Durant, Miss California of 1950, is the happy entry of the city and county of San Diego. Here is more than floral beauty. Eh, Pop? White sweet peas, pink roses, and chrysanthemums are used by the Frenilla Ice Cream Company to create a fairyland theme entitled Harmony. Choosing a horn of plenty, the city of Sierra Madre depicts joyful living with roses, heather, and varicolored chrysanthemums, not to mention 5 lovely ladies in pastel gowns. This is one of 200 silver-mounted horses representing over $1 million in hand-wrought silver. For the best characterization of the romance of California, Bakersfield and Kern counties are awarded the Governor's Trophy with this huge floral masterpiece dramatizing the discovery of gold in California. The story is told with a weary miner, a rainbow, and a pot of gold. The city of Stockton glorifies its waterways with this float entitled The Port of Joyful Living. This elaborate entry is decorated with cornflowers and varicolored chrysanthemums. For the first time in the 62-year history of the Tournament of Roses, hot jazz is glorified. Not only joyous, but pandemonious living is represented in this amusing entry of the Bishop Conklin Company of Treasure Tone Paints. Here's Monty Montana having fun lassoing small fry along the parade route. A hit with the children is this entry of Burbank's Cinderella. 5,000 yellow narcissus and nearly 10,000 pom-poms bring to life this childhood fairy story. A globe of the world fashioned in cornflowers, delphinium, and mountain sage dominates the entry of the Pasadena City Schools entitled Castles in the Air. It suggests a child can dream of wondrous things and, through education, achieve them. Many minstrels sing of the joy of Western living. The city of Barstow has chosen to express it in a brilliant display of white, yellow, and maroon chrysanthemums and French heather. 2 white horses are pulling a floral chuck wagon past a group of cowboys and girls singing and dancing around a campfire. Winner of the national trophy for the most beautiful entry outside California, but within the territorial limits of the United States, is Hawaii's majestic entry, Hawaiian Holiday. You are looking at 130,000 orchids flown to Pasadena for this float by the Hawaiian Visitors Bureau. Beautiful Hawaiian maidens and a surf rider add authenticity to the tropical motif. Arkansas enthrones its 1951 Rose Festival queen, Miss Margaret Ann Stubbs, in a giant rosebud to wave friendly greetings to thousands of Californians. San Bernardino's famed National Iron Show, using white chrysanthemums for snow, creates a bobsled hill to recall the joyous living of youth in a winter wonderland. Like many others, the city of Van Nuys has turned to the memories of youth for an interpretation of joyful living. What more wonderful memory than the old fishing hole? Here is Helms Bakery's idea of a weekend trip. The family of three have piled their car so high, there's no room for themselves. Awarded for the most effective use of roses, the coveted President's Trophy this year is won by Long Beach. The theme, Spring in January, is expressed by 11 animated butterflies made of orchids, violets, and mums, winging over a bed of thousands of pink roses. The pleasures of playtime are extolled in blossoms by the city of South Pasadena. This handsome float is decorated by red, yellow, and white pom-pom chrysanthemums. Now coming down Pasadena's famous parade route is none other than Cupid himself, perched on an 8-foot-high swan of white chrysanthemums in front of a huge heart of roses. This is the entry of C's Candy Shops. Internationally known for its happy service, this beautiful float, sponsored by the Salvation Army, carries that theme. Television has put every home on the range, and here, the California Exchange Clubs depict a scene familiar to almost everyone. It's carried out in roses, carnations, iris, and bachelor buttons. The Alpha Beta Food Market's idea of joyful living in the Ozarks shows 8 hillbillies enjoying the lazy, carefree way of life. White, bronze, yellow, and red pom-poms predominate, with the animals in poinsettias, pansies, carnations, and roses. Here's genial screen star Leo Carrillo on his handsome Pinto. What time in a young life could be more endearing than the night before Christmas? Santa Claus is shown guiding his reindeer and sleigh off into the sky to his next stop. Is that really Santa? Why, of course it is. This beautiful float was entered by the Huntington Park Chamber of Commerce. All the joys of living are not for the youth alone. What deeper, richer happiness can be found than that of a golden wedding? Here expressed in blooms is the entry of Pasadena's neighboring city, Altadena. Joyful living through scouting is suggested in flowers in this entry by the Boy Scouts. A Cub Scout and an explorer stand at attention in a floral picture frame. These magnificent Arabian horses herald the approach of the sweepstakes winner, entered by the city of Madre Park. Its theme is Arabian Nights. In the foreground of this elaborate display is a water fountain, 8 peacocks, and a chained tiger done in beautiful flowers. A floral sultan and his harem are seated on pillows of blossoms before a stained glass window. 2 Nubian slave statues stand guard. Pasadena's own American Legion post expresses the joy of free nations in a float dominated by a large freedom bell made of flowers. Under the bell are emblazoned floral paintings depicting various free countries. No less than 10,000 pink and red roses from the base of this beautiful float entitled The Art of Joyful Living, entered by the Trailer Coach Association of California. What's a parade without a band? Here's the Mustang Band of Pasadena's John Muir College. Among the many amazing things in Los Angeles County is the city of San Pedro's Fisherman's Fiesta, depicted here in flowers. This, the largest commercial fishing port in the world, today expresses its joy and pride in chrysanthemums, cornflowers, and delphinium. The multi-million-dollar harbor is also noteworthy for its mermaids. We wouldn't be Californians if we didn't come up with an odious comparison. Here, the San Gabriel Junior Chamber of Commerce compares a typical sunny California day with an eastern snow scene. Here is the entry of Al Malika Temple with 50,000 red pom-pom chrysanthemums forming a huge Shriner's Fez, standing in front of a bed of 5,000 roses. A promise of health and happiness to all crippled children is depicted in this impressive float entitled Forbid Them Not. A smiling new moon shines down on a wonderland of romance entered by the city of Santa Monica. An orchestra plays a dreamy waltz under trees banked with camellias. Do you remember your first car? The shiny paint, the smell of newness? This joyous and proud moment is expressed in flowers by the Uptown Chevrolet Company. A large figure of Christ, radio towers, and a map of the world reveal in flowers the function of the Lutheran hour in bringing the words of Christ to the nations of the world. The flowers used in this magnificent entry are lavender sweet peas, pink and yellow pom-poms, and 8,000 red roses. Ever been to a barn dance? Here's a college barn dance entered by the California State Polytechnic College. More than 1 million blooms grown by the school students were put into this entry, designed and constructed entirely by them. Pasadena City Schools contributes this all-city junior high band of 236 players to the day's festivities. Symbolizing the year-round beauty of California, the native sons and daughters of the Golden West recreate a giant golden poppy. Los Angeles County's entry is called Joyful Living from the Mountains to the Sea. Here, the county depicts a few of the year-round sports enjoyed through the vast recreational facilities of this area. A home sweet home in flowers, a living room, kitchen, and patio, even a swimming pool, is the elaborate entry of the Philco Corporation, decorated with more than 5,000 roses. The pleasure derived from painting is the theme of this colorful entry by the city of San Jose. Thrilling spectators along the line of march is this sparkling parade band representing the city of Grafton, North Dakota. It is followed by North Dakota's entry in the 62nd Annual Rose Parade, a huge dining table set for a bountiful holiday feast. At the front of this float, titled Happily Ever After, and entered by Temple City, we see a newly married couple leaving the church following a formal wedding. In the background, the scene shifts to 20 years later, showing Mother and Dad older and chubbier. For you, a rose in Portland grows is the slogan depicted on the float entered by the Portland Rose Festival. A huge red rose on a bed of white chrysanthemums. Leading a band is hard enough. On skates, it's almost impossible. However, this drum major likes doing things the hard way. Watch this. Screams of delight rose from young throats to greet the City of Los Angeles entry, a Toy Town choo-choo, decorated with cornflowers, calendulas, and carnations. The train is 65 feet long and is carrying 36 delighted passengers. Helping thousands of downtrodden men to find their way back onto the road of joyful living has been the task of the Union Rescue Mission. Its work is symbolized in this inspiring entry. This entry by Minute Maid Fresh Orange Juice is called Sunday Morning Breakfast. Thousands of chrysanthemums are combined with roses to form the various objects. A dream fantasy called a sleigh ride is the City of Glendale's theme prize winner in this New Year's Day classic. A large sleigh of dark purple stock drawn by 3 swans is guided by Miss Jeannie Broom, Glendale's snow queen. Across her lap is a blanket of orchids. Year-round fun at the beach is a natural theme for the Seal Beach Chamber of Commerce. Here, a family relaxes while a 7-foot floral seal is also having a good time. Choosing first date as its theme, the Pasadena Merchants Association show a boyfriend, corsage in hand, standing at the front door while behind it, mother puts the final touches to the teenage daughter as father reads the paper in the background. This City of Inglewood's entry is entitled June Bride. The minister and bridegroom await the bride, who is walking up the aisle banked by 10,000 American Beauty roses. To many, there's no joyous living to compare with breakfast in bed. Here, Pasadena's famous Huntington Hotel presents a floral salute to room service. Breathtakingly beautiful and entirely different from any of the floats yet seen is Union Oil Company's grand prize entry, Frozen Fairyland. Never before attempted in the history of the tournament, it features a frozen pond of real ice covering 300 square feet. Branches of 3 fairyland trees with thousands of sweet peas in pastel shades hang down over the ice in a mass of color. The ice has been formed by a freezing unit installed in the float. Largest of all county fairs is that of Los Angeles County, which here expresses in flowers joy on the farm. Future Farmers of America and 4-H club members are shown here with their floral animals for judging. The roughest, toughest guys of all become softies on this festive day. Who? The Marine Corps Reserve, here to bring happiness in the form of toys for tots. And now 4 girls representing the 4 freedoms under the shadow of a floral eagle symbolize joyful living in our democracy. An impressive float by the Bakery and Confectionery Workers International Union of America. California's city of Richmond and Contra Costa County have found joy through progress, and to celebrate this discovery with a floral interpretation of its industry and its dreams. Only the Elks could have a band like this. 108 hi-hats, white ties, tails, and musicians. Here they are, the national champions. Name, if you can, one day or time of day more joyous in a child's life than Christmas morning. Entry of the market basket. Here it is, the abundant bounty of Santa Claus, with cheers from the sidelines. just doesn't live in California without a patio. Outdoor living, as interpreted by Pasadena's Water and Light Department, is a career in itself. Here you have it, winner of the Mayor's Trophy, complete with garden, patio, and barbecue.
Western cowgirls and an old-time calliope add a touch of color to this unusual entry by the city of Las Vegas, Nevada, depicting daytime sun and nighttime fun.
Is this really the end? Is this all there is because there isn't any more? Is it time to pick up our things and trudge home? Well, not exactly. This magic day is far from over.
Believed by many to be the most beautiful parade in the history of the Tournament of Roses, this pageant of natural flowers has truly exemplified joyful living. Ever wonder what happens to a parade? They all end somewhere, all but this one. Because of the hundreds of thousands who cannot be in Pasadena on New Year's Day, a post parade is held. The floats are brought into this 43-acre enclosure after their 5-mile journey to stand on display for 2 more days. And here, nearly 750,000 people will enjoy the floral pageant. Here they come. Remember the Mexico float with Mount Orizaba? The Big Ten Michigan entry? And here's the Alhambra speedboat. Remember the birthday party? California's little Oski looks a little weary after his trip. Here's something we didn't intend to show you. That isn't powdered sugar on those California mountains. It's snow, being rapidly melted by sunshine, of course. And so they come to take their places for a 2-day curtain call. Each one of these millions of flowers has been put in place by hand. Many of the orchids, for instance, are contained in test tubes. All this represents the loving labor of people who work for the sheer reward of creating something beautiful which others may enjoy. Here comes one of the unforgettable memories of this 1951 parade, the orchid-laden Hawaiian entry. Don't get anxious, Myrtle. It's almost over. Now let's take to the air and follow our queen. Her destination is the historic Rose Bowl at the foot of the Sierra Madre Mountains, which form the majestic backdrop for Pasadena. Here she comes with her happy court to climax a day of joyful living. The Marine has not only landed, but is securing his position. California's Governor Earl Warren and Mrs. Warren have a smile for the crowd. The rest of this story is recorded in sports pages, newsreels, and the memories of the fans. Michigan won a football game from the University of California, but the people who visited Pasadena on this magic day won a new confidence in themselves. The confidence which comes from re-examining the wonders of a nation expressed in terms of its happier moments. For in America's dreams lies the key to her determinations and the secret of her eternal greatness.